Do I use social media? Yeah, I use social media quite a bit. Primarily Twitter when it comes to chatting with friends and all that at school. I love using hashtags, saying when I go to different events on campus. Being an RA, I love promoting my events via hashtags. I also use Facebook to kind of keep up with family. I think it's really important to let my family and friends back home know what's going on. So I don't post to Facebook as much, but when I post, I like to do the significant things. But Twitter is more my everyday outlet. And I've also gotten into Vine lately. Vine and a lot of Foursquare, checking in on campus. It's kind of cool to check in all the different buildings.
I do use social media. I have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and I also Instagram.
I do use social media. I have a Twitter, a Facebook, an Instagram, Tumblr, anything you can think of. Basically, I'm a big social media buff.
I've definitely seen negative effects of peers from social media. Social media can be tricky when you put, when you're putting all your opinions and you're venting on Facebook and Twitter. And I think with our generation, it's easier to just put it out on the internet without really thinking about the consequences. And I've seen a lot of peers regret things that they've put up.
I have seen negative effects of peers using social media. There's a lot of cyberbullying that happens and a lot of negative tweets, Facebook posts about other people that really shouldn't be happening, and people should really, use proper judgment when they're about to put something online because it's viewable by everybody.
I've seen some negative effects of social media, mainly kind of just small remarks, like they don't come out and say it directly to people, but you can kind of see when people imply certain things. Some people call it subtweeting and stuff like that. I try to avoid that myself, but when I see it, I like to maybe go up to those people and remind them that, hey, anybody can see this, it's on your record forever, so why mess around with it and why risk that for yourself?
Social media definitely has positive effects. First off, it allows you to connect with people super fast. Also, you can keep in touch with family from home. I know that was huge for me. I could talk to my grandma who lives in Florida every day if I wanted. So I think it's just the way it's able to connect people.
Social media has a lot of positive aspects. You can connect with people around the world. You can use, Twitter with the hashtag. Facebook now has hashtag. You can follow trends, things that you're interested in, and it's a great way to figure out, other people around the world that have the same interests as you.
Can we curb bullying on social media? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is to think before you send any kind of Facebook post or tweet, tweets in particular, because we tweet things that we think of immediately, and half the time we need to think it through. I have to catch myself all the time because you never know who's going to see what you tweet online.
Healthy boundaries means to me that you are living a healthy lifestyle while you're here at college, which is very easy to do at Fisher because of the great people that are here and the great lifestyle that is set in place for you when you come to live here. The food is very healthy and there's plenty of activities to keep you focused and healthy, which really is basically the definition of healthy boundaries.
I think that healthy boundaries are sort of along the lines of like setting appropriate limits in all aspects of the word, in a friend group, in an intimate relationship, knowing what you're comfortable with, what you want out of something, especially in an intimate relationship, what you want, do what makes you happy, never feel pressured.
As a commuter, the best way to get involved on campus is to really pay attention to the emails that the commuter council sends you and to sign up for the events that they hold throughout the year.
I would say that most people wouldn't know that I'm a commuter because I'm on campus so much and in those offices. So I think it's important to get involved right away, and then you will feel like more of a residential student and people wouldn't even notice that, you go home at night.
While I was a commuter, I did visit the residence halls because I did meet many people during Great Beginnings, and they really got me involved with what was going on in the residence halls as well.
The hardest part is definitely parking. I kind of plan my schedule around parking. I do all my things in the morning so that I can get here, get things done, have a good parking spot, and then I'm out earlier in the day. So it's important to just look at your schedule, and if you've got a class at 1:30, you're gonna have to park a little bit farther. If that's okay with you, that's the way it works for you. But I'd rather get up early and get a good spot.
When I first came to Fisher and I found out I had to have 2 roommates, I was a little nervous that there wasn't going to be enough room for any of us.
When I found out I had 2 roommates, I was kind of like bummed because I knew a lot of people had doubles and I thought our rooms could just be crowded. But it wasn't too bad living with 2 people because you had 2 different sides of seeing who you're going to live with, and it was just a lot easier to get along.
My first reaction to having a roommate was that I was nervous. I have siblings, but I've had my own room for all my life, so it's kind of a different situation. I was excited to meet new girls and they could be my lifelong best friends, so I was excited, but I was nervous at the same time.
Going into your freshman year, everyone's nervous about sharing space. It's not a matter of sharing the space, but it's a matter of the property that you have, and you're nervous about someone taking your things or somebody using something without your permission. So just be comfortable with it and know that if you need to talk to somebody, your RA is always there, and you also can have the conversation with your roommate.
The biggest challenge of living with a roommate was the sleep schedule. The way we got past that was compromising on the noise level and the lights.
The biggest challenge while living with others is definitely getting used to having to share some of your stuff. Like, I wasn't used to having my clothes being taken maybe. It's just like, you just gotta set your boundaries with each other and just make sure you know what's comfortable with everybody else in your room.
I became really close with my RA, so I talked to her a lot about the issues. I also got very close with my RD, so I talked to her a lot too, and they were really helpful. They gave a lot of good advice. We did have to sit down at one point and have a roommate talk, and they were there for me and my 2 other roommates as well, and it was a really comfortable situation, so definitely utilizing Res Life helped a lot.
I would not have done anything differently. I had a great experience. I got along with my roommates really well. We all bonded. It was just a good experience all around.
I think I would probably try to get closer to my roommates after we aren't roommates anymore. So I would feel like I probably should have tried to be closer because we each had our own friend groups, but maybe trying to get closer with her, maybe it would have made it a little bit easier.
I do not feel that socioeconomic status really has a big impact on this campus. I feel like we're really accepting of who you are no matter what your socioeconomic status is or racial group or whatever that is.
Do I feel that socioeconomic status plays a role in either social groups or athletics? As much as I hate to say it, I kind of think so, yes. Oftentimes, students from the more prosperous suburbs of Rochester can oftentimes be students that kind of feel like they're above others. And I wish that wasn't the case, but sadly there are the issues, and I wish that we were able to not go after them, but kind of say, hey, would you mind toning it down for some of us less fortunate folks? As for sports teams, I don't really know if I can speak to it a whole lot because I don't know the teams that well in person, but I'm assuming if it's happening in social groups, it might be as well on sports.
I don't think socioeconomics has an issue pertaining to athletic teams because, we're both on the football team, and, we're pretty much a diverse group of people, and the economic issue doesn't really come up, and if it does, we work past it.
I believe you can support students who are not comfortable with their socioeconomic status simply by pushing them in the right direction. There are a multitude of free things not only around campus but in the community that you can go attend, and even if you don't have the socioeconomic ability to go out and spend some money here or there, you can get a work-study job and make some spending money on the side.
The hardest part about being a minority on campus is sometimes not feeling like you have a place on campus and trying to find people who can relate to you as far as culture and similar beliefs and stuff like that.
I feel that Fisher is a caring community. I believe that one of their main goals for freshmen and incoming students, and really anyone, is to make them feel welcome and just to get them involved. There's so many things on campus to do, which makes you feel like you're part of a community and gets the sense. And it's just, I've always felt welcome. I've met so many really nice people here, but not every school is perfect. Each school has their issue, but I definitely feel a really strong sense of community at Fisher.
I think that Fisher is definitely a very caring community. It's the Fisher family, and it's just very welcoming.
I've always tried to stand up for bullying and everything like that, and when you do intervene, you just feel so much better because I feel like if I let something happen, I would think about it all the time. It's like, I should have helped, I should have done something. So I try to intervene when I see things because I know I'd want someone to intervene for me.
I do feel valued on campus. There are a bunch of resources, and I feel very welcomed by the people here, so it makes it a lot easier for you to transition into a place that you do have a minority status.
It is true that most students don't drink here at Fisher.
I would say it's definitely true that most students don't drink at Fisher.
In my opinion, I think it's true that most students don't drink, although most students do try alcohol some point in their college career, but it seems as if most students do not drink on a regular basis.
I do think that students drink out of peer pressure. Peer pressure is something that you'll find anywhere, and it's kind of hard to overcome, but using your own values and judgment, you should be able to overcome the peer pressure, at least try to, as much as it may be hard in the beginning when you're trying to make friends.
I think that when you find your friend group, it's a little tough at first, but when you find who you really get along with, no one's going to peer pressure you to drink. And I think that you can go out and make good decisions and be with your friends, even if maybe they're not making the right decisions, but then you're also a role model for them.
There was a time where my roommate had been drinking way too much and came back to the room and continued to lock himself in the bathroom. And I thought, I didn't know what to do at this point, so I called one of my friends who told me about the Good Samaritan policy. And the Good Samaritan policy told me to call security, but to mention the Good Samaritan policy, and it helped me and my roommate not get in trouble, but at the same time, security was able to help us in our time of need.
I actually was not homesick at all when coming to Fisher because I live about 15 minutes away from school. I knew it was going to be a big adjustment, but I also was really determined to not go home and not use the closeness that I did have as a crutch. In a way, people were actually surprised to find out that I live so close because I didn't really go home until Thanksgiving.
The biggest challenge I face moving away from home is having to do my own laundry and knowing that I have to go eat dinner.
One of the biggest things that helped me to overcome my homesickness was staying on campus every weekend and definitely involving myself in on-campus activities such as the investment club, the accounting club, being an RA. Those were definitely clubs that got me meeting new people and giving me something to do, which kept my mind off of home and kept my mind here at Fisher.
My advice for first-year students about being away from home is definitely use the first weeks of school to your advantage. Everyone's new. Don't feel nervous about making connections with people, building relationships, join some clubs, keep your door open. That is where I made most of my friends.
I would definitely say if I had to give any advice to first-year students about being away from home, it would be to be open to be open for the new setting that you're going to experience here, because it's different than home, but in the long run it's definitely something that if you're completely open about, I think you'll definitely enjoy it.
My advice for first-year students being away from home is definitely just go with an open mind. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to hate it and miss home. Go open, just enjoy it, try everything you can, get involved, and just have fun.